Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Whole Latte Love live streams. Thanks for joining us. I'm here with Nick.
That's right. Good to be back. It's been, I think, since Black Friday, Cyber Monday, since we've done a stream together, right?
Yeah, we did about 8 of those in a row that day. That was a marathon.
That was a marathon. So for those of you who tuned in, thank you.
And we are going to be going through a lot of fun stuff today. This is one of my favorite topics to cover because it's one of the most important things for getting longevity out of your machine and making sure that your coffee tastes as best as possible. We're going to be talking about spring cleaning, how to make sure that your coffee equipment is totally clean inside, maybe out too.
Yeah, I mean, it's an apropos topic, right? So spring cleaning is hopefully something that we're all working on right now, but if you think of your coffee as an investment, right, and you're really getting into nuance and you're investing in equipment, you're investing in high quality coffees, and then you don't clean your equipment, well, if you're training your palate to taste all those nuances, you're going to start tasting some delicious nuances of stale oils, maybe over-extracted grinds. So cleaning is kind of a non-negotiable, I'd say.
Non-negotiable, yep, agreed. And I think what Micah overlooked a lot of times is what's still left on the inside.
Yes, I would say so.
Yeah, of the group head is still a bunch of those oils. What happens to oils when they just sit around with heat? They get rancid.
And they kind of bake, right? So something that we have that's pretty cool today, you may have noticed this little device here. This is a microscope. So Brian was able to figure out a way to get that connected as a live feed for us during our stream today, which I think is super cool. So Brian, if you want to show them what we're working with here. And so that looks like maybe a portafilter basket that's been a little neglected, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I can see a whole lot of, those oils that we were just talking about, they're caked around there, and those do have a taste. That doesn't taste very good. It tastes nasty, rancid, bitter, sour, all those things.
I felt the urge to point at them, but I feel like my fingernails would be more frightening than that basket. But I think it's really important too because, and Brian, I don't know if we can see maybe on the overhead, but here's a basket where if you look at it, I wiped out the inside. This looks pretty clean, right? Well, actually, you flip that over, and on the other side, we actually have some coffee staining. And what my point is that getting in there and giving that little wipe after each shot, well, that's fine to get the inside of the basket cleaned out, but there may be stuff left over on the other side. And John, to your point, when you leave those portafilters in there, and let's say that you've got some oil still in there, well, your machine's keeping all that hot, it's eventually going to get drier and it's going to start to bake on, and then you can go back, Brian, if you could, to the microscope there for a minute. You'll start to see that those holes that you have, no matter how cleanly punched they may be, can start to accumulate those oils in there, and that can cause channeling.
Yeah, look at that. Brian, hit that one more time for me. Sorry. Thanks, Brian. You can see that those holes are not as big as they should be. There's a lot more restriction kind of around where the edge of that hole should be. And not to mention, it's also covered in stuff that's not going to taste very good after heating up for so long. Okay, sorry to make you bring that back again, Brian.
I'm sure. Well, we have other cool stuff that we're going to show off, so you don't have to have nightmares about that. There are other things that we teased in the short. So basically, a few alternative options maybe for shower screens. But John, let's just go over the very basics. So for those of you who are out there who are tuning in, maybe you're just getting into home espresso, you've got your first machine at home. What is backflushing?
Backflushing sends water through the entire group head and out the three-way valve. So basically you're just getting fresh water in there, and you can even put detergent with that water that will clean out a lot of these oils that will be building up in there, making everything taste nasty.
That's right. So, John, if you want to scooch, let's have Brian get us over actually to the Synchronica. So just to kind of show what you're talking about, when you're brewing, your pressure is going down, and it's flowing through the group, flowing out of your portafilter, and especially on an E61 style machine like the Synchronica 2 here, that water is permitted to flow when we raise this lever. When we put the lever back down, it will stop the pump, but it also changes the pathway that the water can take and then forces it out down through the discharge tube. And so that may not have had any pressure because it was just a empty portafilter, but when you've got coffee left over in there, and also when you're back flushing and you've got a backflush disc in there that's got no holes, all of the pressure is relieved down out through that discharge tube. So see, we've got some comments too. Definitely ask them. We've got Ben moderating. So we've got Oro Rivera. Hello, love this show. Glad to have you. We're glad you enjoy it.
Yeah, thanks for joining today.
And so one other caveat that I want to mention too, because it relates to a video that Brian actually just put out on Soggy Pucks, which is a bit of a banger in itself, is that you need a machine with a solenoid valve or a three-way valve that allows the pressure to be relieved in some way, because otherwise all of that pressure is just going straight down through the portafilter and you can't backflush them. So the idea of backflushing is something that only applies to machines that have that relief valve.
So like a great example of a machine
would
that
be like the Synchronica, right?
that you do want to backflush on.
Yeah.
If you have like a lever machine, for example, you don't want to backflush on a lever machine. That pressure doesn't go anywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if any of you at home have experienced this, but if you do have a pressurized portafilter or a pressurized group, right, from brewing, you don't have a solenoid valve, you unlock that portafilter a little sooner than you need to. Well, it kind of sneezes, sort of like it sounds almost like you're cracking like a soda can or something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We got a question actually from James Curtis, Textman4268. Is it possible to backflush a Gaja Classic Pro EV24? I've had it since October and really looking to flush and clean it. So EV24, you're talking about the E24, I think, with the brass group, James, but basically the answer is yes. So there is a three-way solenoid valve in there, and now that there's the brass boiler on top of the brass group as well, if you get yourself, we sell them on the website, just a metal backflush disc, any 58 one will fit into the portafilter. Just pop that right in there, and that'll work, and that'll keep the solenoid valve clean.
Yeah, in fact, we do have a Gaja Classic
John,
setup
it's like
right
you
here.
were anticipating.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, Brian knew where I was going as well. Now, this is going to work the same if you got the Evo Pro, the E24, even the Gaja Classic Pro, right?
Yeah, but the one thing I would point out, though, too, is that the aluminum boiler in the original Classic is more susceptible to corrosion than the brass boiler that's now being used in the E24 and also the Classic GT, which does come with a backflush disc, by the way.
Oh, good.
So
Nice.
if you've got the E24 and you've got the brass boiler, I would say yes, definitely go ahead. You can backflush those. Thanks, guys. Order of filters and pitcher of better water. Yes. So water, James, that is super important because you're basically preventing a problem before it even happens, and that problem is limescale buildup. And not to mention that, like as a kid, I grew up on tap water. So my friends,
Same.
They were like a bottled water household, and I was always like, oh, like water is free. But the point is, between chlorine or any of the other things that get put in there, and then any other kind of just. Like, you can drink it, sure, but maybe it doesn't taste the best. Like, a BWT filter is not only going to remove minerals from the water so that you don't get that limescale buildup, but you're also going to remove some of those impurities that will cause, your flavor to kind of taste a little off, right?
Right. Yeah, and it's not going to turn it into reverse osmosis or distilled water.
Yeah.
There's still going to be some mineral content in there, particularly magnesium, which is what you want when you're brewing coffee. You want a little bit of mineral content, and that's what those BWT pitchers will do for you. You're going to clean up anything that's going to cause scale, and you're going to retain minerals that are actually going to make your coffee taste good and protect your boiler.
So this is a bit of a deep cut, I feel, right? So we've got AS, who I recall from the Black Friday Cyber Monday stream. So AS, good to see you again. So asking, if you're using filtered water, is there a need to descale an espresso machine periodically? And so that kind of goes back to the topic of what John was talking about a little bit, but it really comes down to like what water filter are you using? So Brita filter or a just regular drinking water filter that you might buy from the grocery store or something like that, those are intended to remove bad flavor from your coffee or from your water, right? But the BWT products that we carry on Whole Latte Love, those are actually specifically designed to prevent limescale buildup in your espresso and coffee equipment. And so I see you're talking about a BWT pouch now. So if it's a BWT pouch, So that's going to be something like the BWT Best Save. Those are a really great economical option. They're very low maintenance in terms of like you toss them into the tank. But what's really, really important with those pouches is that if you're using a filter in a pitcher, say, or you have an inline filtration system, your water is actively flowing through the layers of filtration and it's getting softened in real time. Now, if you put the pouch in there, those float in the tank. Oh, Brian, thanks, you.
Brian.
So, John, you can model that for me if you want.
Of course.
Zoom in, Brian, just so we can see the BWT on there. Just for a minute, I think. Got to give that little plug there. But so basically what's happening is those have to sit in the water tank and soak for about 10 hours in order for that ion exchange to effectively soften the water. And what we have seen is that in some cases, if you refill your boiler or you refill your reservoir and then draw that water into the boiler before you've given the pouch enough time to soften it, you may still find that there's some scale accumulation. So I do want to stress that, you know, these filters don't last forever either. They do have a limited capacity in terms of their total ability to remove scale. So having a schedule, and that's something we're going to talk about with backflushing, is super important just so that you can keep on top of maintaining the machine, changing those filters, getting your oil changed in your car, you know, changing your furnace filters, all those things you're going to want to do.
First of all, Cafiza, yeah, I couldn't agree more, and we're going to get into more Cafiza in just a moment here. Not to hijack the conversation, but I wait 10 hours after refilling the tank, so I am okay.
Yes, the answer is yes, and I mean...
You got it.
And we can also say yes with an asterisk, and this is where it does get a little more complicated, but if you do look at the pouch too, it will tell you, so there's a little plastic that these come in. This one's loose because we use it in videos, but it'll tell you the total number of fills that you can accomplish based on the hardness of your water and also the total capacity of your tank, because it's based on how much water is it actually softening. And so that is something that you'll want to check just to make sure that you don't overtax the charged resin, which is what binds that magnesium or the calcium in exchange for magnesium. Change the pouch every 2 months. 2 months is the maximum, and so that's to prevent bacterial growth or any kind of other microorganisms. Rocket R Cinquantoto, love it. You guys are great. We love you too, Mad Dog. Thank you for joining us. Horo for the can I use Brita water with BWT?
Oh, Ben jumped in here on that one. If you're using a BWT filter,
he did actually.
Yeah, you don't need to also use a Brita.
Yes, yeah. I would say get yourself an aqualizer and you are good to go.
That's right. In fact, I think we might even have one I can show you right here.
Yeah.
The BWT aqualizer. I love using this thing. I actually personally really like using this as opposed to the pouch because I can also use this water for my pour overs. I can just pour this into a kettle. And plus it takes about 5 minutes, maybe less, to completely filter the water, and you can just pour it right into your reservoir from there. So you've got a couple options. This is a great economic option.
Yes.
We even sell this in a 1-year supply. So
yeah,
it would be
6-pack.
Yep, 6-pack. So the max would be 2 months that you want to go with this. So you got a couple options when it comes to BWT products. In fact, we even have BWT inline filtration as well.
Yes.
It's the Best Max filter package.
Yes, so that's an inline, so you put it between your home water line and your machine. All the water passes through and it filters it before it gets into the boiler. Aqualizer looks great. Yes, it does. They used to be called the Penguin.
Yes.
And then they kind of went like a little like Terminator, and they're like, it's the Aqualizer. You know what I mean? So it sounds a little more intense.
Well, what do you think? You wanna get into Cafiza? What does?
Let's get into Cafiza.
Let's clean these machines.
I do know how to pronounce it. I know that it's Cafiza.
Not Cafiza. Yeah, that's right. It's not Fragile. But listen, I took a lot of time and kind of gunked up these machines. I pulled a bunch of shots. So we've got pretty dirty machines right now. Didn't even do too much rinsing. The portafilters are dirty, the baskets and the screens. We're going to show you how to clean all of that stuff.
So Brian, first let's just do a little overhead. I'll call it our cooking show view for a minute here so we can go over some of the tools that we have. But basically this disc right here that has no holes in it, that's called a backflush disc. So you'll have seen one that comes with your machine, and it's basically just a portafilter basket that has no holes in it, and then your 3-way valve relieves the pressure. And when it comes to the Cafiza, So this is the Urnex Scoops brush. So it has a little calibrated end that makes sure that you're scooping as much Cafiza as you need. It may be less than you actually think, but it's about a 3-gram scoop at max. And so I'm using the Scoops brush, but you know, if you're a little bit of an espresso head and you bought yourself a scale, that's one more reason where you're like, honey, I need it for the Cafiza. So you can measure that out that way as well. And so basically you'll lock this in. Usually you'll want to put this in after you've put the backflush disc into the portafilter, but
sure, we can make do. It'll be just fine. You're gonna exchange your actual portafilter basket with holes for the blind portafilter basket, or the backflush disc, as we sometimes call it.
Yes.
And that detergent is gonna make its way, since it's got nowhere to go, it can't go down. It's gonna make its way throughout the innards of the group head, and it's gonna clean everything you need. There are some good instructions on how to use this. We'll take you through the whole thing. It takes about 5 minutes or so.
Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about my routine too, because I think it's really important that you're not just backflushing, but also checking your other components as well. So I won't make Brian show you that microscopic view again, but you know, you are going to have to remove the basket from your existing portafilter before you can put in that backflush disc. Now, the reason why that's important is this means that it's an opportunity for you to check both the underside of your basket, and John did his best to try to gunk this one up here. And you know, it doesn't happen all like right away. It happens over time, like I was saying with bacon. And then you can also take a look at the inside of the portafilter as well, right? So this one's still relatively clean, but you know, despite John's best efforts, I did grab
I'm a clean guy.
some
what can
other
I say?
ones just for demonstration purposes. But you can see on the insides of these portafilters, they are looking a little rough. And so what I've been saying as of these days is that a portafilter is not a cast iron pan.
Yeah.
So you do not want it to build. So actually, you've got a little anecdote about this.
There was an article going around a long time ago that maybe about 5 years or so ago, where someone recommended what it takes to make great espresso. One of the things that they mentioned was you want that coffee taste to build up over time. You know, and just no cleaning of the machine. You want coffee oils to build all over everything. And this article got absolutely torn apart by coffee people saying, please do not do that. You're going to damage your machine and your coffee's going to taste nasty, all those things. You know, those oils that are building up, I mean, oils and heat, it gets rancid. I mean, there's nothing good that can come of that. So it's not a cast iron pan. You don't want to season your espresso machine.
That's right. And you know, this gives you the opportunity just to check, because you're popping that off anyways, and just to look and see, okay, does this need to also be cleaned? Because the Cafiza makes a great solution. So if you've got like a larger, maybe like a glass mixing bowl or something that's got some depth to it, you can soak the components. And you may want to be a little more careful with your portafilter, because if you've got something, say, like, you know, with a beautiful wood handle, perhaps, like from Vitamin, just treat that a little more delicately, but just make sure you're submerging for enough time. And then your espresso machine, believe it or not, can produce hot water, which is terrific for making this cleaning solution. And that's my preference, is just to run a little water off the machine and then make the solution and soak everything. But again, you do not want to season this stuff with old oils. You want to keep it clean.
I think it would be fun to, we've got plenty of time, why don't we actually soak one of these dirty portafilters, and then when we finish up, we'll take it out, we'll show you how clean it is.
We should. So Brian, let's get, let's try to get a close-up. Yeah, actually, we're going to use that camera.
Nice.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, you can kind of see all along the inside here. And you thought you were safe with bottomless, but as a matter of fact, no, even the sides of the bottomless can get dirty. Now, that is one thing that I think is really good about a bottomless portafilter, because yes, on a spouted portafilter, you can't always see the bottom, right? And so it's out of sight, out of mind. If you have the bottomless portafilter, you can always just check to see, oh, hey, how am I looking under there? Do I need to do a little deep clean? But yeah, let's soak one of these guys here.
Yeah, why don't we use this Cafiza you've already got here? A little goes a long way. I'm just going to put that right into, I like to use my steam pitchers. The 20-ounce steam pitchers, most of them will fit most portafilters.
See, that's John's commercial DNA, because not everyone at home uses a 20-ounce. But for those of you who do, I love finding other uses for my equipment, like the scale to measure the Cafiza, the pitcher to soak everything. Absolutely.
Right. Now here we go.
And so, John, I know in a commercial environment, you guys are Cafizing every single day because you want to keep your equipment as clean as possible. If those of you at home are trying to think about, hey, what's my routine, what's my rhythm gonna be, this would be my suggestion for you, okay? Let's say you want to back flush every 60 shots. So if you pull 2 shots a day, you're back flushing once a month. If you pull 4 shots a day, you're back flushing every 2 weeks. And that will help keep your equipment clean. It will help the group stay clean as well, right? Blocked valves can actually be a little bit more of an issue on smaller machines like the Gaggia Classic, just because it is a smaller valve, right? And so those clogs can be exacerbated much more so when you have less room for the water to actually pass through.
Right, right. Now, I also like to say every time that I back flush properly, successfully, all of that, my coffee actually tastes much, much better. It's almost an overnight difference. So, you know, if there's anything that's going to get you to make sure that you do it regularly, just know that your coffee is going to taste better. And every time I do it, I go, oh, why didn't I do this sooner? So show me what we have here.
Yeah, so I mean, really, we're just going to go back, use that scoops brush again. And we did a little bit of math too, right? So I think it was, this is about 3 grams in this scoop. And there's like 560 grams, I believe, 566 in this Cafiza tube here. So that would be what, like 26 years worth of back flushing if you did this only once a month?
Now, of course, I like to use it for other purposes.
Or no, 15 years.
15, yeah, 26, that sounded high. I like to use it for other purposes like soaking the portafilter. I even use it in my Chemex, my Hario server. Just put a little bit in there and then fill it up with hot water, and it's cleaner than you've ever seen it. In fact, I was propagating some plants just to have some more new growths and stuff, and you know, all the plant gunk that kind of builds up on top was starting to look a little nasty on the glass. I just soaked it in some Cafiza. So I mean, frankly, I use it for everything.
You know, actually, it was funny that you say that because Danilo also, I was talking to him and he was talking about how back in Brazil, I think he said like his shoes got dirty when he was like out hiking or something. And then he was like, just use a little Cafiza, you know, they're good as new. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Could be used for many things. So Carlo, that's a great question. And I think Gaggia is actually drawing the connecting thread, but on super automatic machines, usually you'll see the products advertised as brew group cleaning tablets. So Gaggia, they use what they call their coffee clean tablets, and they actually, in the user manual for the Classic GT, sorry to flex on you guys, but John and I have spent a little more time with it than maybe some of you have so far. They recommend using Gaggia coffee clean tablets for back flushing, but typically, Super Auto manufacturers, but also Ernex themselves, they have their own Cafiza tablets for the Super Auto. And it's basically designed just to be dropped into the brew group inside the spouts in the coffee circuit of the Super Auto. It builds up coffee oils just like it would on the inside of your portafilter, on the inside of your basket, for example. So some brands will have a cleaning reminder that will say it's time for you to run the cleaning cycle. Others will not. So it really comes down to making sure that you're on the up and up with your user manual, but really the same idea applies. It's getting those old oils cleaned and out of the machine so that your coffee tastes its best.
Now, the super automatic cleaning tablets, most of those are going to go in the
bypass doser.
Bypass doser.
That's right.
Shoot. Okay. There you go.
And so AS, is there a risk of damaging the machine if you are not using a cleaner like Cafiza to back flush every approximately 60 shots, or is it more about the taste of the espresso? So as far as that goes, yes. I mean, if you do not use Cafiza and whatever, so first of all, just to talk about Ernex for a little minute, everything they make is a coffee cleaning product of some kind. Like that is their raison d'etre. It's like the entire catalog is calibrated products to remove coffee waste, essentially, right? So like I wouldn't say to put Cafiza in your dishwasher, and in that regard, I would not say to use like dish soap or something inside your machine. So this is designed specifically to work with your espresso machines. It's like, I know there's like some old like wisdom of like, oh, just use vinegar to descale your espresso machine. And it's like, well, yeah, maybe there's acetic acid in there, but that is not formulated in such a way that it has been tested on boilers to make sure that every boiler is not going to be, dissolved by putting this vinegar in there. So
Right.
yeah, I would say, generally speaking, especially when you're spending, $500 and above on your espresso equipment, maybe leave the down home remedies at home and go out and pick up some Cafiza.
Yeah. I mean, it lasts for so long, and it's so multi-purpose, and it can clean things better than I can with just soap and water.
So Jesse, any do's and don'ts with this product? So as far as do's and don'ts are concerned, I mean, first of all, you do want to just use the correct amount, right? Because otherwise you are going to be standing there for a very long time waiting. Because what you'll notice is when you remove the portafilter, if you've put too much Cafiza on after you're done backflushing, there's still going to be undissolved bits of Cafiza left in there. That's not really harmful. It's just you've used more than you needed to. As far as don'ts, it is a acid-based cleaner, so you just want to treat it with the same level of attentiveness as you would any household cleaner, just to make sure that you're being safe. And then you always want to make sure that you fully rinse out the remainder of the Cafiza from the group. So after you're done doing flushes with cleaner, you also need to do flushes just with water.
In fact, on the instructions here, what you need to do is engage the brew. We're going to do this in a second, but you need to engage the brew group 5 times for 10 seconds each, with 10-second rests in between. Then, Nick, to your point, what you want to do next is do the exact same thing, but without Cafiza. So that way it's just water getting flushed through the brew group. So that way you don't, this is a food safe product, so it's not harmful, if you taste a little bit or anything like that. You certainly don't want to be gulping a giant spoonful of Cafiza or anything like that. So you just want to do the same thing again with just water, so it cleans everything out.
So Danielle, if you could, just what kind of machine are you working with? It does, like Ben was saying, depend on the manufacturer. One thing to really keep in mind with super autos versus more traditional semi-automatic or prosumer machines, this stuff is hot all the time. So what I mean by that is there's a much greater likelihood that that's going to be drying out those oils so that they build up. On your super auto, it's heating on demand with that thermoblock. And if you have a Gaggia Babila, Gaggia's recommendation, and it may be on the Babila, it's a little bit of an older machine, but if you pull out the group, they have reminders on there. Their suggestion is at least every 500 shots you prepare, because you're saying once a week. So I mean, you're putting your machine through its paces. You're getting a lot of action with that Babila there. So I would say though, maybe every 500 shots. There's no harm in actually cleaning more frequently than that, but you do want to just make sure that you are rinsing everything out when you're all done, especially if it's a super auto like a Gaggia where you have a removable brew unit. You can take it out. You may still see a little bit of residue left over inside the brew group or in the dreg drawer from the cleaning tablet, and you can just rinse that out and you're good to go.
And just air dry it, no dishwasher, nothing like that.
That's right. Just leave it out overnight and then put it back in when you're all done. So.
Well, want to clean a brew group?
I can talk a lot.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is one of my.
I feel like let's get over here and let's clean the.
Well, this is one of my favorite things because it's so important. Let's just party. This is what we're gonna do. I'm actually gonna. I like to get out a timer, so let's go ahead and do that now. Now it's gonna be once every. We're gonna run it for 10 seconds. Then we're gonna wait for 10 seconds. And then do that 4 more times.
That's right.
So here we go. This is number 1.
So I see you're using your phone, but if your PID has a built-in shot timer, that will help you as well. So Ivan, Gaggia has a recommended liquid cleaner, detergente per cappuccinatore. So that sounds like milk cleaning solution, and so that may actually be a product that's not available in our market, but we do have some milk cleaner here that we are going to talk about because cleaning your either your auto frother or your steam wand is super important. But that sounds like a milk cleaner just based on the name.
Now, I don't know if anyone's seen this, but every time I'm disengaging the brew group.
Get this out.
Oh yes, thank you. You'll see a whole bunch of this detergent come out. The first couple, especially, were pretty brown.
Yeah.
So a lot of really good, all those oils that I really, really wanted to get out, we're being very successful right now.
That's right. Yeah, and you will see that. And so eventually that foam is going to start to get whiter and whiter just as you have, removed the remaining coffee oils from there.
Right, and we're just going to do one more, and then we'll do it with water, and after that we're going to be good to go.
And so also too, you'll probably notice the drip tray is getting a little full here. Definitely empty out your drip tray before you start backflushing, just so you have enough room for all the water that's in there.
Nice. All right, that's it. Our Cafiza part's done. In fact,
show this off too, actually.
Yeah. Look at all this stuff that was left over up in there. Let's get a little overhead shot of this.
Looks like we've got some coffee particulate in there. We've got
certainly some of the Cafiza. You can see a little bit of the soapiness there, but yeah, this was.
Like right in there, you see some grinds and stuff like that.
Yeah, even if this was a very well rinsed, maybe even wiped down screen, you would still see some brown residue kind of left in there. So this did exactly what I wanted it to do. And I've got one more trick while you're doing this that I want to show you. This is kind of a tough one. So be careful if you do this. We've got other tools if you don't want to do this, but I always did this in cafes. Check this out. I call this flooding.
Flooding.
Yep.
Okay.
All these grooves where the gasket is right up here. It gets a little messy, but you can just really get.
Grab this.
You can really just kind of wash this entire assembly up here. Nice.
I've never seen that, but that's actually pretty sweet.
Well, it's cool. It's a little messy, so if you don't mind a little mess, but getting water all over the entire thing,
I feel like
really nice.
I have said to many people in my time here that coffee is inherently messy. So I feel like you get in the business of coffee making at home, and you have to expect that there will be a little bit of mess.
And now, Nick, if you didn't want to be a messy person like me, you have another tool in your hand right there.
Yeah, so this is a group cleaning brush. Most brands of machines include them just in the box. And basically this is a kind of stiff plastic bristled brush. So the plastic's great because it's not able to really scratch or damage the metal. And then, you basically get up in here and then you can scrub the group to get any coffee grounds that are left over and built up in there. And you especially want to get the ones that are built up around the edge too. Because
are you getting the gasket around the edge at all there?
I am getting the gasket, exactly, because that's not necessarily getting flushed out all the time. So more to talk about on that too, because at this point we have only touched the bottom of this shower screen, right?
Right, yep.
And so this is a little toasty, but we're gonna get probably a nice flathead screwdriver because backflushing is great. Cleaning your shower screen off, also something that you definitely want to do. But those coffee oils can be pressed up on the inside of the machine on the opposite side of the shower screen and also on the shower holding plate or the dispersion plate, right? And that's especially true on smaller single group machines where the shower screen is directly connected via a screw. So something like the Gaggia Classic, the Bezzera Hobby, maybe the Profitect Go. You would be shocked if you've never taken off that holding plate to see how much coffee and oil actually can build up on the other side of your shower screen. So what machine is this, Stephen? This is the ECM Synchronica 2.
And we've also, right over here, we also have the Gaggia Classic E24. So we've got two totally different kinds of semi-automatic machines. Both can be backflushed in the exact same way.
Gaggia Vetro 2 group. That sounds like a commercial product. Okay.
Oh yeah, that might be a commercial one. I'd like to check it out. Cool.
So for the detergent backflush, I noticed that my brew group lever. Yes. So Cody, actually, I was just about to say that. So after you have, it's literally squeaky clean. So once you've finished cleaning the brew group with the Cafiza, yes, you will start to notice after you've pulled a few more shots that the coffee oils themselves help to re-lubricate everything and the squeaking will go away. So the first couple of times, yes, you will certainly hear squeaking in there. You don't have to put any kind of lubricant. It will relubricate itself. So don't worry about that. So Brian, let's go back overhead again if we can, because we've got, oh, actually no, I've given him an impossible task. All right, there we go. And I want to see, so this is a nanotech coated shower screen. So this is one of the items I was talking about. This is the one from IMS. So it's a photo etched screen, first of all. So John, run your finger across that. And that's incredibly smooth, right?
Yeah.
And so for those of you who are unfamiliar, the iridescent sheen that you're seeing, that's nanotech. And so basically it's a applied nano quartz coating. It's hydrophobic, which just means it helps repel water. So a screen like this one's really helpful because it does help to prevent, it's slipping right out of my hands.
Yeah.
When you're wiping this off, it cleans off incredibly well. But you still want to get the other side. So let me see. Do I have the right screwdriver here? Yes. No. These are all Phillips heads. So I think maybe the spoon will
We'll find a... Yeah, you know what? I've done that
for a minute.
I've done that
many times. Have you scooch over to the other side, John, while I just fight with this for a moment.
And now I've done the spoon trick many a time, Nick. And all you do here is you just pry the E61 screen out, right?
Yes, and typically your gasket's going to come with it as well.
Nice.
And I do not recommend doing this while the machine is hot, but
yeah, he's a risk taker.
We're doing it live, so.
Not bad. Not bad. Oh, hey, we actually have a, thanks, Ben. We have a flathead screwdriver, but you were pretty successful, you MacGyver.
I did get that there. So, but just to show the opposite side, so this one's pretty clean because John just backflushed it, but, and if you want to get back up to that view, Brian, for me, you can see you've got all this space on the inside where those oils can collect as well. And this is the stock screen, so, I mean, we have barista fingers, so you can feel, though,
oh yeah,
way more texture on this because it's basically just a wire mesh. So it's going to be much easier to keep the outside of this screen clean from IMS. But there is a caveat to that, so we are going to go back to our...
I'll trade places with you.
Microscope here. And I do need to raise this up a bit, so it's going to take me just a little moment here to get the...
Yeah, no problem. I'm interested in what these holes look like on that IMS screen under the microscope here. And my guess is that because I can actually see those holes, some coffee particulate might end up getting kind of inside the screen and under it.
So we'll let it, there we go, so we don't get motion sickness. Brian, go ahead and switch that over there. So there you can see how cleanly punched those holes are. And water can flow through there, and you better bet that small coffee particulate and oils can flow back up through it as well. And it's not just that they're flowing through it, it's that when that pressure is being relieved through the through-way valve, it's creating a vacuum that's essentially pulling...
It's literally sucking
liquid,
it up.
Sucking it up, exactly. So you still, even if you've got a nanotech screen like this, every now and then you are going to want to come in there and check the opposite side. And then you also would want to look, there's the diffuser. I don't know if we have the iPhone, maybe we could show it off, but basically there's the diffuser that is underneath, and that basically just spreads the water first before it then spreads over the screen and then onto your espresso. It is a beautiful one, yes. So I'm going to show you one other option though, okay? So this is a screen from IMS as well. This is called the DVG Matrix. So the Matrix is really interesting because it actually has multiple layers of perforated metal stacked on top of each other. So if you feel that, that still feels pretty smooth too, right?
Yeah, it feels like it's just one sheen.
Yeah, there
really
we go.
Nice
Thank
piece
you,
of
Brian.
metal. Yeah.
So it's incredibly dense though. So I'm going to put that on the microscope too, just so we can show a difference in those surfaces. So if you want to switch back over to that one, Brian. So basically that's what the surface of this screen looks like. And you might think like, how can anything get through there? So water can pass through. Ground coffee really cannot.
Pretty much cannot, yep.
So this screen, and we can come back to us, is really good at keeping things from being pulled back in during backflushing. Now, what it's not as good for is wiping it with a cloth, because you notice it's not as smooth. So something like this, I would recommend using your brush in conjunction with just running some water through it, and you can get rid of the grinds that would be building up on this. But you know, just another option. Like, I think I kind of love the gadgetry of all this stuff, and so you know, it's just like a completely different design, but it's all doing the same thing.
Right, right. No, it's all keeping grounds out of the inside of your machine, and I mean, Cafiza and things like that are going to clean up any one of these things.
Yes.
And you know what, Nick? What I like to do is even take the screen off, which you've already taken this screen off, and I'll even soak the screen.
Yes.
Yep. In, like, you know, you can use anything like the steam pitcher. In fact, we're pretty close to the point where we maybe want to check what the Cafiza did here.
The Zara.
But you know, after we do that, we'll even use this. I'll show you how maybe some
throw some towels
works.
down just to.
That might be a good idea, actually.
Save some splashing. But yeah, so if we've got any questions, I know Ben's taking good care of you guys, but yeah, if there's any questions that you've got, otherwise, yeah, John can show off how to. Ooh, look at the color of that water. Dude.
Yep. Here we go.
Okay, I have a fun little.
Yeah, I think I know what you're thinking.
Yeah. So.
All right, now check this out. That was pretty grimy before, and now we're pretty shiny. You know, you can see a little bit of the. A little bit of the actual Cafiza bubbles there, but if I just go like this.
Well, and that's what your brush is there for too, right? So a little elbow grease in addition to some Cafiza can help get rid of any of those spots, right?
Yeah, this is about as clean as it gets. You know, and of course you take the brush along sort of the inside here, and you're going to be in really great shape. I would even rinse this a little bit more with some water just to make sure that we're totally food safe. But yeah, I mean, that took what? 10 minutes, 20 minutes, probably even less, and you're going to have a similar result.
And you know, I know you've had some guys coming to visit when you've been brewing some of the Untold coffee on stream here. Maybe we can give them a little bit of this that we've got here. But, you know, all that was inside that portafilter that we just got rid of, right?
Ooh.
So,
it's even, there's even some solid matter in there, too. There's a bunch of grounds and, like, oily flakes. Yeah, that's nasty.
You know, Zach loves to talk about fines migration, but yeah, I mean, whole pieces of coffee can actually make it through the basket, and yeah, it'll end up inside your portafilter or inside the basket as well. So
right.
You don't want that in your cup, obviously. Good soup. Hi guys. How do you get rid of the squeaky noise on the lever for the ECM after backflushing? So Edwin, we did mention this, so it's a great question. If you just pull a few more shots regularly, that sound does go away as the group will naturally relubricate itself.
And that's due to the coffee oils, right?
That's right, exactly.
Very nice.
So it's literally squeaky clean, and then it gets back to just kind of regular sounding after that.
Right.
But
awesome.
Yeah, let's see some Rinza. Yeah, now that you've got this cleaned out, I'll give it a quick rinse.
Yeah, give me a quick rinse, and then I want to show you this this other product. Again, we've been talking about Ernex. They make Cafiza. This is one of the most ubiquitous cleaning products in the entire coffee universe. But Ernex also makes Rinza. Now, Rinza is used to clean your steaming wands. Keep in mind, every time you steam, you're going to want to do this. You're going to want to purge again. Anytime you disengage the steam wand, because of suction, whatever you're steaming, a little bit will go right up into the steam wand. So, one, that's going to help get anything out of there, which is really good. Some of that stuff might still be in there, maybe caking up a little bit on the inside. We don't want that.
Yes.
So every now and then, I like to do this in cafes. I like to do this every day. You know, doing like up to 300 drinks in a day. At home, I would really only do this like.
I don't think Danielle even makes that many drinks on her Babula every day.
Well, I mean,
I want to mention you real quick too, Danielle, because Gaja in North America does not have a dedicated milk cleaner for carafes.
Right.
But this Ernex Rinza will work to clean Super Auto cleaning systems as well. So just want to put that out there for those of you who are Super Auto owners in our audience.
Right. Yeah, this is going to be a little more for the semi-automatic, you know, something like the Gaja Classic E24, the ECM Synchronica NE-E61 machine, really. So let's do one tablet. Let me get this out here. They kind of look like this.
I think they look exactly like that.
They look exactly like this, actually. And you just put it right in here. I'm going to go grab some, let's grab some cold water. I think I have our, let's use some nice water, our BWT Aqualizer water.
W. Reed, Sylvia Pro has a cleaning function. Should that be used instead of the Cafiza recommendation? So, I mean, that's a good question. And to be honest with you, I think that, because like even ECM, for example, they have their own programmed cleaning function as well. So it does not tell you to wipe the outside of the machine down. It actually will count the number of completed shots that you pull. And then once you've reached that number, it reminds you to then run a backflush cycle. So I think what's most important of all is Ernix is kind of giving you like minimum recommendations, right? So you need to engage the cleaner for long enough to actually begin dissolving it and then have it eject back through the solenoid or through the E61. Now, what's really most important is that you maintain a routine of cleaning, right? So even if there are small differences between following exactly what Ernix says or what Rancilio's program in the Sylvia Pro X does, it's just important that you are actually backflushing regularly. And then we can, you know, quibble about the number of seconds maybe in another stream. But I would say if you've been following the backflushing program on your Sylvia Pro X, you're probably good to go.
I would agree. And I think my hope is that when you backflush, you're also maybe noticing a difference in taste as well. I almost always do. So that's hugely important with this whole coffee thing
Cafiza
as well, isn't
improving taste.
Yes, that's right. Now, this is looking just about dissolved, but it doesn't need to be dissolved before we get this going. It can be a little loud, just to let you know. But let's give it a go. This is all you want to do. You want to just keep engaging the steam and then disengaging. Now, keep in mind, like I said before, every time you disengage the steam wand, a little bit of whatever you were steaming gets sucked back up into the steam wand. Now, this is going to get hotter and hotter and hotter. I'm actually even going to put it down. This is going to get hotter and hotter and hotter. And that's going to break down that tablet, if it's not already broken down. And you want to just do this until it gets really, really hot. Sorry to be so specific, but that's kind of what we're going for. You just want it to get really, really hot. I recommend doing this at night before you go to bed, and just leave it in there all night and sort of let it do its thing overnight. And then when you get up in the morning, you want to do this exact same thing again, the same way that we did it with the Cafiza, where you need to do the entire process again, but with water and without Cafiza. You want to do the same thing here with Rinza. You just want to do this with water and without one of the tablets, or they also sell a liquid form.
So basically you're saying do it at night to keep people from falling asleep and then do it again in the morning to wake them up.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I will also say, whenever I do this, most of the time I notice a difference in my steam pressure. So you'll get some very, very nice steam after you've done this. You'll have a perfectly clean steam wand. Really helps keep things out of the boiler if you've got anything that might be like traveling up that tube because maybe you're not great at purging after you steam. This will help protect anything that might kind of be making its way up to the boiler. It'll get everything out.
And that is partly too what the vacuum relief valve inside those boilers is designed to do too, to prevent too much of a vacuum from forming so that it's not pulling so much up into the boiler where you'd actually draw milk into the boiler. So like I don't want you to come away from this thinking like, oh my gosh, like milk is getting pulled into the boiler.
No, that's not what's...
There is a valve for that, but it is getting pulled up a little bit to the inside of the steam wand here. And just in terms of the outside of the wand too, something that's really important, so maybe more on the sales end of things, but if you're thinking about buying a machine and you're considering cleaning as something that's really important to you, having a machine with a no-burn wand is good, not just because it keeps the exterior of the wand from getting hot enough to burn your skin, but also it keeps the exterior of the wand cooler, meaning that the milk won't bake on as quickly, right? So if you are steaming and you want to keep your wand really clean, you want to wipe it down pretty much as soon as you're done. And the hotter the outside of your wand gets, the less time you have to wipe that down before like it gets pretty, like, if you're giving it some real effort, you can definitely get that baked on milk off. But it's going to take you more time and more energy than if you just keep it clean as soon as you're done steaming.
Right. Yeah, these are two of my favorite products to use when it comes to cleaning. It's not just cleaning the outside of your machine. What'd you say earlier? It's what's inside that counts.
I don't know if I did say that, but I feel like that's a sentiment we can all get behind.
I think Zach might have said that. That's right.
Could be. So, but do we have any more questions? So yeah, Danielle. Yes, just to anyone who's reading that in the comments, it's very important to keep your machine clean. It's a lot like your car. It's a lot really like any kind of big investment. The effort that you put into it, like I'm really into vinyl records, so I do my best to keep my records clean. I have a dedicated, set of brushes for them, and then I also have, I go and I change my needle cartridge every now and then, and things like that, because it's a lot of stuff that you can't see, right? So like my needle got kind of bent after someone might have misused it. And the guy at the store was like, "Oh my gosh, like this thing's really bent," and I wouldn't have known because he looked at it under a microscope. And to that point too, there's a lot of stuff going on inside your machine, inside the brew group that you can't necessarily see, but that is something that you can affect. And so it's really good, especially when you're just getting a machine, to build those habits. And if it means too setting reminders on your phone or something, putting it into your calendar just as a task, like. Just get yourself into the rhythm of doing it. Maybe the day that you do the laundry, or if you do the dishes every time, same time every week or something. Just use those as opportunities to go and check on the machine too, and then build into your just regular schedule, cleaning and maintenance.
Right. And we're getting a little close to the end. There's one more thing I want to show you. I don't know if I'll be able to show you how it works today, but I do really want to show you this. I have yet another Ernex product. You can find these on the website as well, on wholelattelove.com as well. This is grinds. So grinds are basically little coffee-shaped pellets that you'll put into your grinder, and then you're going to grind it through, and any gunk that might start building up on the inside of the grinder, little pieces of fines. I mean, they're coffee beans, they're coffee grounds. Right. They're going to get everywhere. You've seen it.
And if you can zoom in, I mean, Ernex has actually even put the crease from the bean in these.
Yeah, I love that.
That's Brian, where do we need me? Oh, there we go. Oh, we'll put these under the microscope, maybe, perhaps. But they look like little bean pellets. But it's all food safe. Mark has eaten one of these once on camera. I will not be repeating that, but
me neither.
I think these are corn based.
Yep.
And
so all you would do with this is you want to empty out either your hopper or your grinding chamber. You can use the hopper gate, close your hopper and do it. You're going to take 1 capful of grinds and just run it through the grinder. You'll put it right in there, and whether you've got like this grind by weight grinder, I would use my manual button or just stick the portafilter right here and just let it grind in. Yeah. You'll be if you've never done that, or if you don't open up your grinder and get on the inside very often, when you do this, you'll be surprised how much brown, fine coffee stuff is coming out with these yellow kind of corn-colored things.
It's like those videos where you see like a dam that gets released for the first time ever or whatever, and then it's all the gunk first before the water starts flowing. But I mean, impacted coffee grinds that are on the surface of your burrs or stuck inside the grinding chute, for example, it's a lot like the oils that build up, and even coffee oil can be deposited from beans onto the inside of your grinder as well. Running some of these can certainly help. And it is good every now and then though to also open up the grinder, because getting a brush and actually getting at the burrs and being able to brush off the grinds that have collected on there,
and then
can certainly help as well.
Yep, and then grab a shop vac. Anything that you just broke up, get that out of there too. You'll have pretty much a brand new grinder.
Yeah. And Danielle actually too, can I use it in the Babila? The answer is no, but Ernex has a product that they call Super Grinds, and so John's about to go grab that. And I just want to explain the reason why that is. So grinds are basically a food-safe item that you put inside a coffee grinder, right? Well, the difference is on super automatics, you can't run your grinder in your super automatic without it trying to brew as well. So super grinds are designed to be hydrophobic, just, I used that word earlier actually, but they repel water rather than absorbing it. So if you were to put regular grinds into your Super Auto, they'd go into the group after they've been ground up, they would soak up that water and they would expand. And that is not what you want. Right. So super grinds you can use, and they can be used basically if you don't ever want to open up your Super Auto, you want to clean out the burrs in there, you can definitely use some super grinds and just run a few shots after that, get all that cleared out. But yeah, so basically, as you can see, Ernex has kind of created a solution for more or less everything.
Yeah. I mean, we've got four products here that are going to clean pretty much everything that you need to clean. What I don't have in front of me are the Ernex wipes. So we've even got a solution for the outside of your machine, something to wipe your machine down with as well.
So AS, I think we'll take this, and we might have time for one more question after that, but is it safe to use compressed air to clean difficult grinds from inside of your grinder? Yes, absolutely. So we've made some videos on this, but either a vacuum with a hose attachment or a shop vac, or if you don't like the idea of doing that, yes, compressed air is very safe. The thing is, you just want to make sure that it's not blowing back up into your face, because you are blowing down into a grind chamber. A lot of it will come out the front of the grinding chute too, so just having something there to catch it, it is a little messy, so maybe if you want to bring the grinder out to your garage or something.
Yeah, from experience, shield your eyes. Yeah. It's coffee, it's messy.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got the glasses down already, so. But
these ones at least.
It is safe, yes, and that's definitely something that we recommend too, just as a way to get anything out that might still be in there.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Nick,
We've
what do you
changed
think?
places here.
Yeah. I mean, this has been a pretty dynamic one. We've just been going like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do want to say again, thank you to Brian who figured out that microscope for us, because that was a little bit of a big ask from me, and I thought it would be cool though to be able to show off that kind of stuff to you guys. We've used it for a few other things, but never live. So,
yep.
If using a compressor, it's blowing dry air, not condensation. Yes, that's true. You do not want to get any kind of moisture in there, Mod Squad.
Absolutely.
So, Mod Squad 8 you.
Cool.
Why is
I like it.
Mod Squad 6 afraid of Mod Squad 7?
Because 7, 8, 9 you. I'm trying.
It was a stretch for us both.
I appreciated it though.
Thank you, AS. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And you know what? You had very good questions today as well. Mm-hmm. Really appreciated going through all of this with you guys. I hope you guys got something out of this, and I hope that you're going to have even tastier coffee, even better working machines, and hopefully increase the longevity of your machine by making sure everything is nice and clean all the time.
And John, with that, so James, thank you for joining us too. Glad you appreciated the information. You've stuck it out for cleaning, which is really, really cool. Next week, we're doing a little something special for St. Patrick's Day. You might be seeing some green, so definitely tune into that, because it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we accidentally coordinated next week's colors today, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Whoops.
We leaped forward.
Yeah.
Daylight savings.
Spring
forward.
Spring forward. There you go. Yep.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in.